Hi everyone, it's Haley and thank you for joining me as always. Today I want to do another sort of back to basics video, just talking about some of the supplies that are really good to have when you are just starting out at keeping plants or really at any point in your journey. These are just some things that are must-haves. Alright, so one must-have that I have for you is shears, and even though we are generally focused on house plants, these are still a really useful tool to have in your arsenal of things. Whether you are exploring propagation or you need to prune something, you will definitely reach a time when you want to have a high quality pair of these. And a really good tip for success with your shears, speaking from experience, don't leave them outside, don't leave them wet, make sure that you're giving them time to dry because they will rust. Something else to keep in mind is always sanitize with alcohol in between uses. If you're trimming different plants or you've had an infestation and need to cut something back, be really mindful that you are cleaning them in between uses because you don't want to transmit anything from one plant to another. Even if all of your plants are healthy and doing well, it's still a really good rule of thumb just to abide by. Okay, so next up is a high quality organic fertilizer. This is a fish fertilizer from Espoma. Any brand will do. It's just really great to have one on hand. I've talked about fertilizer so many times before and it's important, so I'll spare you the lecture on that, but it definitely is good to have one on hand that you can use monthly in your care routine. So along with that, another great item is having something on hand for dealing with pests. That's one of those items that you want to have before you need, and pests are always something that you want to address right away before they spread or worsen. So having something on hand before you need it is a must. This is an organic insect control product by Espoma. I've used it and had great success with it. I mentioned in a previous video that this summer was quite brutal for me with pests, specifically spider mites and mealybug. This was really helpful, and again, the gentleness and organic nature of it is something that I love. Next up is a moisture meter. I'm sure most of you have heard me talk about this by now, but no matter where you are in your plant journey, this is always something that can be useful to you. I still use mine. If you haven't heard of it, it's just a really great tool to help you get a reading on the moisture content of your soil. All you have to do is put this metal part here in the soil and it'll give you a reading up here of how wet or dry your soil is. It can be so helpful in preventing overwatering or even helping you realize that you might be underwatering your plants, and it's just overall a really great basic tool to always have on hand. So the last thing that I actually don't have with me but I wanted to include in this list is a spray bottle. And while you don't always need to be walking around misting your plants, it can still be a really helpful thing just to have on hand. Maybe you do have that one fern that likes a little extra, humidity, and that's a great way to accomplish that. They're also great to have for watering things like orchids. I've even used the nozzle setting on mine to knock off pests. It's just a great thing to have on hand. And last but not least, having extra supplies on hand is so helpful. That can include things like soil, amendments, pots. You never know when you might start a propagation binge and want to duplicate all of your plants, or maybe you need to up pot something, or maybe you have a pot break on you. Always having extra supplies on hand is so helpful, and you will thank yourself down the road. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and of course, I will see you next time. Bye.